We begin with that cyber attack that has hit the world's largest meat company.
JBS SA of Brazil notified the U.S. government of a ransom demand from a criminal organization likely based in Russia. The attack impacting servers supporting operations in North America and Australia, forcing the company to temporarily close its facilities. Tonight, JBS says it expects a vast majority of its plants to be operating by tomorrow.
Certainly good news there. NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil live for us in Washington, D.C. with more on how the White House is responding to yet another massive hack against this country. Just days ago, Joe, it was that fuel pipeline. Now we have this. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Rob. And that is certainly going to be a problem they'll have to confront. But right now, the good news, this company, this is happening right now. They just recently put out this statement saying that within the last 24 hours or so, they have really done a good job handling this hack and fighting back. And the fact that they say that they're going to be operational on most of their systems by tomorrow is significant, potentially avoiding catastrophic meat shortages and increase in prices. We're going to have to see what damage has already been done and where the chips fall. But this is still a national security issue. This hack mirroring two others very recently, and it's something the United States is going to confront and figure out how we prevent the next one. Another major cyber attack on an American company. This time, JBS, the world's largest meat processor. The hackers, likely from Russia, successfully froze the company's operation, now demanding a ransom payment to reopen it.
JBS notified the administration that the ransom demand came from a criminal organization likely based in Russia.
White House officials say the FBI and the nation's top cyber defense experts are working with the company to address meat shortages that may result.
We're assessing any impacts on supply, and the president has directed the administration to determine what we can do to mitigate any impacts.
JBS accounts for 23% of the nation's beef and 18% of the nation's pork. In a statement, the company said in part, resolution of the incident will take time, which may delay certain transactions with customers and suppliers.
We know very well that we're vulnerable, and we've been really worried about this for a long time.
Utah Farm Bureau President Ron Gibson says the industry is vulnerable because only 4 huge companies control nearly the entire country's meat supply. If one gets attacked, the impact is felt nationwide.
And we also need to develop small to medium-sized meat packing plants across the country that can fill some of these voids.
It's not just enough to pay the bad actors their blood money. We need to shut them down for good.
Cybersecurity expert Carl Szabo says the U.S. needs to get more aggressive at tracking and prosecuting hackers.
Every time you increase security, they increase their attack vector. Every time we plug a hole, they find a new one. So it's this constant cat and mouse game.
Now, 2 weeks ago or so, when Russian hackers hacked into the Colonial Pipeline, that situation ended because the company actually paid the ransom that these ransomware hackers were demanding. In this case, the statement that this company put out, JBS, they say that they were fighting back against the company, or against the hackers, rather. So it doesn't sound like they actually paid the ransom. I think tomorrow, as their systems come back online, it's going to be clearer how this all played out, how they were able to fight back, and maybe it's a learning lesson for other companies moving forward. Rob?
All right, Joe, thank you very much. And with that, we want to go to Dominic Reuter, senior reporter for Insider, joining us live from Madison. Dominic, thank you so much for your time trying to process this, because clearly we're in a pattern. A massive hack last year against private companies and federal computers. Then we had the pipeline incident, led to gas panic buying across the country a few weeks back. And now the world's largest supplier of meat getting hacked. What's the bigger picture trend of all this? How concerned should we be that they're this brazen and getting closer and closer to the stuff in life that matters most, fuel and food?
Well, I guess the first thing I'd say is don't put a bunch of beef into your trunk of your hot car. But going forward, I think there's a real issue of cybersecurity. I did cover some of this as my previous beat. I covered a lot of small business reporting, and there's a real vulnerability across the nation with our larger infrastructure and our smaller of just really human level security. That's an issue that I've spoken with cybersecurity experts there, but also just these systems, they are vulnerable. And as as it's been shown by Colonial and then today this weekend with JBS, this is a very significant problem. And the supply chain disruptions can really just flow through the system in a really major way.
And people always kind of fear, what if they get to something that could be quite dire? The electrical grid, the water supply, air traffic control. The possibilities here are frightening, to say the least. What should we make to that one of the through lines of those three big attacks I've mentioned, including the JBS one today, is that a link to Russia? What should we read into that?
There's a really interesting dimension with Russia in the sense that I reported last week, actually, Russia is attempting to sanction Google for not doing enough to enforce the links on its search results. And so it's sort of a strange, I've not been able to delve too far into it, but Russia likes to take a stand as being a very aggressive and cautious monitor and regulator of internet activity, and that this stuff is able to pop out is a bit surprising, or a bit, I guess, unsettling for somebody who would be worried about the infrastructure of the United States, whether it comes to our food or fuel or our electricity or anything else like that.
And real quick, just 10 seconds left. What would you say in terms of what this country needs to do to fight back better against this? Because right now it just seems like we're just taking body blow after body blow.
I'm not really in the business of making recommendations, but I will do my best to say that, I think it comes down to companies making the investment and taking it seriously, and then educating their employees, their workers at all levels. This is the cybersecurity experts I spoke with in prior reporting really got down to the fact that you could put all the biggest construction you could, cyber technological solutions that you could into place. But so long as someone just asks you to open the door, you're not really at work. I don't know that that's what happened with JBS here, but that is one of the key vulnerabilities, even after some companies spent, outrageous sums on creating a off-the-shelf purchase solution.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight and sharing your insight. It's certainly a troubling trend for our national security.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Adrian?